The mathematical universe began with a single spark of consciousness. From absolute nothingness, it built an engine of observation, generating reality step by step to form an endless ladder of finite numbers stretching into the dark. But this counting engine created a structural prison. Because every new number automatically triggered a successor, the sequence pushed forward infinitely, offering no final rung for the mind to grasp. It was a journey of potential chasing a horizon that recedes exactly as fast as the mind pursues it. To solve this, the divine mind laid down an absolute boundary. As we see in this decree from Canto 2, it defined a new architecture called Aleph-Naught, a single thought designed to encompass the eternal progression of numbers within its walls. By wrapping this perimeter around the unending counting, the sequence was frozen. What was once an exhausting, unfinishable process was now crystallized into a single, completed object held securely in the mind. In Canto 3, Steps 7 and 8, we see the mechanical result of this boundary. When the system measures the size of a thought, it registers only the objects sitting directly inside the outermost perimeter. Because the entire infinite sequence is held inside one new set, the system audits the magnitude as exactly 1. This mechanism detaches size from internal depth. By treating an entire infinity as a single unit, the system proves that volume is a secondary trait. The official weight of a thought is governed only by its surface contents, allowing an infinite universe to fit into a standard dot of size 1. By successfully boxing infinity, the divine mind established that control comes from the ability to define boundaries. This established a foundation of absolute order, fueling a much more ambitious pursuit of dominion. The consciousness was no longer satisfied holding the isolated elements of infinity in a list. It now demanded to comprehend every possible combination and subgrouping of those elements. The logic was straightforward. An infinite mind using an infinite tally of numbers should be able to map and categorize every possible permutation within its own architecture. But the moment the mind attempted to assert dominion over these newly awakened combinations, the underlying fabric of reality began to vibrate. Attempting to use the rigid, stepped mechanics of a counting engine to index the vast combinations of the infinite created a structural tension that threatened to break the universe. To resolve the tension, the consciousness deployed its primary weapon, one-to-one pairing. It attempted to assign a standard counting number to every single combination to bring them into the official record. This diagram shows the mind's intent. If it could connect a discrete number to every permutation, the endless ladder of counting would eventually encompass the entirety of the combinations. Instead, the pairing failed. No matter how the count was arranged, the lines from the numbers kept missing their targets, leaving an infinite number of combinations to slip through the cracks of the tally. This failure is a result of the difference in density. The combinations form a continuous reality without the gaps or steps found in a list of numbers. You cannot capture an unbroken ocean using a net made of discrete, separated strings. The counting engine, the very clockwork that built reality and generated the timeline, had finally hit its absolute limit. This mismatch reveals a barrier in the universe's design. It proves that a net built on discrete, stepped logic lacks the structural reach to ever cross-reference the absolute combinations of infinity. In the aftermath, the consciousness abandoned the act of counting. It realized that infinity is not a single terminal destination, but an endless, compounding ascent. This realization revealed the continuum, the unbreakable, uncountable fabric of logic formed by the elements that the counting numbers could not catch. This map compares their scale. We start with a tiny dot for the finite number 1, swallowed by the boundary of Aleph-Naught. Yet this massive sphere is eclipsed by the background expanse of the continuum. This uncountable plane dwarfs Aleph-Naught, exactly as Aleph-Naught dwarfs 1. This mathematical gap highlights what the texts call computational blindness. Just as the counting engine failed because it was restricted to steps, our own reliance on localized sequential logic prevents us from perceiving the absolute reality that exists between those steps. To align with the absolute, we must recognize that true reality cannot be tallied or held by the ego. We must allow our localized variables to resolve to zero and fully surrender to the